If you've ever played sports, you know how important good technique is. Technique is things like how you kick a soccer ball, how you throw a baseball, or how you would position your body while golfing. But what technique is the correct technique? Well, it all comes down to physics. The game of lacrosse starts with the draw, where two players push their sticks together and push upward to throw the ball into the air. Looking at these pictures, we can see how hand placement can affect the draw. We can see some players prefer to keep their arms underneath the stick to push only upward, while others keep their elbows above the stick to push downward and cause a rotation. Well, which method is better? Torque represents rotational force. The unit for torque is a Newton meter, representing the force applied for every meter away from the center of mass. This creates the equation torque equals force times R times sine of theta, where R is the moment arm, which is the distance from the center of mass, and theta represents the angle the force is applied. We can see that the balance beam is in equilibrium because the torques on both sides are equal. What does this have to do with the draw? Well, it's all about the moment arm and the angle of the force. As you increase your moment arm, you cause a greater torque, making your stick rotate more dramatically. But what about the angle? When you apply your force at a 90-degree angle instead of a 30-degree angle, you will get a larger torque because sine of 90 degrees equals 1, while sine of 30 degrees only equals 1/2. Plugging sine of 30 degrees into your equation will cut your torque in half, making it smaller than if your force was applied at a 90-degree angle. So you may be wondering why the sticks used to take the draw are not longer, such as the sticks used to play defense in men's lacrosse. This is because the longer your stick becomes, the farther your arm will have to reach out, decreasing the angle that your force is applied at. This would cause your overall torque to be a fraction of the amount of power you could get when you apply your force at a 90-degree angle. This is why women's lacrosse sticks are much shorter. So which method really is better? Is it easier to push upward on your stick or to push downward on one side and cause a rotation? Well, as we have figured out, rotational force provides a lot more power than a simple linear force. As long as you maximize your moment arm and apply your force at a 90-degree angle, your rotational force will easily surpass the amount of force you can provide by simply pushing upward. So, the next time you play soccer, think about the moment arm of your leg or the angle your foot impacts the ball. How can you maximize these two things to increase your amount of torque and gain the perfect technique? Once you have this technique, your overall amount of power will continue to increase along with it.